am Elizabeth with A Grain of Sand, and today I want to show you how to make our Awesome Blossom Fantastic Plastic cocktail rings. All of these rings you see are made using the same technique. The only thing that differs is the beads that you use. Today I'm going to be demonstrating this ring that's made out of our lovely Fantastic Plastic briolettes, a screen finding, and a ring blank. Let's get started with your project. I'd like you to thread up about 1 yard of fire line on your size 10 beading needle. When we go to tie the knot, you're not going to have a knot pre-made in your thread. We're actually going to tie directly onto the screen finding. What you're going to do is take your needle, come up through the screen finding, leave a tail, head back through, and now you're going to tie a knot on the back side. Remember, you do want a good tail of about 3 inches. You're going to use this again later. Now that you've got your knot made, come back on up through the screen with your needle and you're ready to start adding the beads. Thread up a bead, head back down through the next hole. Stitch it in place. You don't need to worry too much about your tension, but you do want to make sure that the beads aren't going to be all floppy off. Get it relatively snug, but you don't have to worry about really yanking on the thread. Come back up through the next hole in your finding. Add the next petal. Go down through the next hole, and you're on your way. You'll notice that your beads might feel a little wonky at first, and that's just fine. The more petals that you get sewn in, the stiffer this is going to become. As you make your way around, just keep stitching back and forth, making sure that the beads don't get tangled, because on your next row, you're going to go back in and make it a little bit fuller. The idea is to just keep adding beads until you've worked in circles from the outside in until the screen finding is full. I've completed the first part of my row, and I wanted to show you how to go ahead and get started with the second part. You can skip forward so that you're now coming out of a hole where you'd originally sewn in. What we're doing is going back through and filling in the gaps. This is part of what makes the flower ring look so full. Just stitch it on in and put you on the track for sewing back up through and down through other holes. Don't worry if it doesn't look like it's going to line up. The pieces will end up looking just fine as you make your way around and press them in place. Also, don't worry about how it's looking on the back side. You can see that my threads are a little all over the place. We'll take care of that in the end, and so you don't have to have anyone know that it wasn't beautiful on the back. As you get toward the center, you'll notice that your beads want to flop into the inside. Just try to jam your finger down in there to keep them in place a little bit as you get these last couple of beads in. Remember, you just want to get it as full as you can of beads. So just keep working your way in, and with each extra bead that you put in, it'll get a little more stiff in your flower. That way, you won't have a problem with flopping later. Once you've filled in the middle and you've got it nice and stiff, we're going to turn back around, sew through, and we're going to take advantage of that tail that you left a little bit earlier. De-needle your thread. Go ahead and tie another knot. And then it is safe to clip your threads. Now it's time to camouflage your stitching. Take a little bit of glue, dot it on there. Take a second screen finding Mash that on into place. And it's okay if the glue comes through. It just lets you know that it's going to be an even more secure hold. And go ahead and prepare your ring finding. What I like to do is just dab a little glue around the outside of the finding. The serrated edges on this ring finding actually help it hold better in the long run than a smooth ring would. Just place it down, let it cure, and your ring will be ready for wear. We hope you've enjoyed this segment on an awesome blossom ring made with fantastic plastic by A Grain of Sand. You can find all the materials for this project on agrainofsand.com.